Hello and welcome to this video. My name is Mary, in charge of training and career advisory services here at Corporate Staffing. And today we are discussing about how to make a good start to your presentation or your speech. Have you ever been wondering, why do I struggle with starting my presentation or my speech whenever called upon to speak? I believe you're going to find this video very insightful, and I am joined by one of our lead facilitators for the Speak with Confidence and Master Presentation Skills training. Thank you so much, Parmenas, for joining.
Thank you, Mary. I'm excited to join you.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know quite a number of people normally struggle with the introduction. Whenever called upon to speak or to do a presentation, introduction normally becomes quite an uphill task.
Yes.
So that makes me to ask, why do people struggle with introduction or introducing their presentations?
So when it comes to presentation, Mary, there are three parts to a presentation. So there's the introduction, there's the body, and there's the conclusion, or what we call the call to action. So I can assure you the most difficult part is the introduction. Because a lot of us prepare content when it comes to the body. We know what you're going to say. But the introduction part is where we are caught unaware. And it's because of various reasons. We are very nervous at the start. We fear being judged, or maybe we don't even have experience. We don't do a lot of introduction. But having trained on this course, I would say the main reason is because we don't know that there's a technique on how to do the introduction. So, as I had said, every speech, every presentation has three parts. There's the introduction, there's the body, and there's the conclusion.
Yeah.
So let's look at the work of the introduction. The introduction serves two main goals. The first one is to capture the audience attention. And then, after you capture their attention, then you can transition to the body. So a lot of times we struggle in the introduction because we don't know how to do the introduction. It's a skill. It's a skill issue. Yeah. And I'm sure anyone watching this can relate. If you look at experienced speakers, presenters, there's a certain formula they use when it comes to the introduction. Let me call it a formula, because indeed it is. So what are some of these things that they do? So you'll find either someone will use humor, they'll use jokes, someone can tell a personal story, someone can start with a conclusion or summary of the presentation. You can talk about your expertise. Someone can also talk about facts. You can also start with a question, which also it's a very powerful way of starting your presentation. So if you've never heard of these things, then you can see how difficult it is. You can talk about your expertise, especially if it's really a formal setup. Yeah. You can also apply presentation aids. This is where the use of PowerPoint or videos. Yeah. So a lot of us struggle with the introduction because we don't know how to do it. We don't have the skill. And that is why the training aspect is really, really important. Yeah.
Great. So then how can an individual, or how can I improve my presentation skills?
Mary, there's a reason why 70% of the people who attend our Speak with Confidence class are from professions which are not people-facing. So these are accountants, finance, bankers, legal, engineers. And the reason they do this is because they don't have practice. They don't engage with people or presentation on a day-to-day basis. And yet, maybe right now they've been promoted, or their job now requires them to do presentation. So if you are to improve on your presentation, there are only two ways to go about it. Number one is receive the training, adequate training. And as you know, our 9 weeks program does cater for that. The first 2 days we take you through the theory. What is public speaking? Why do you get nervous? How do you structure your presentation, the introduction, the body, the conclusion? And then the other days you get to practice. We get you an avenue where you can be able to practice in a safe space. And which is the second most important thing. A lot of us also, we don't practice. If you look at the people we look up to, the newscasters, the famous people, the reason they look like they do this so effortlessly is because they do this, it's part of their living. They do this on a day-to-day basis. So if you look like at a presenter, let's say Jeff Koinange, he's been a presenter since 1987. Those are 37 years of practice. If you look at the politicians, what are they always doing over the weekend? They're always in the podium talking to an audience. So why wouldn't they be better? Yeah. So all is not lost. Look at an opportunity where you can be able to train. Then when you understand the techniques of doing public speaking, then Mary, look at every opportunity that comes your way to practice. It could be in the office, you know, those Monday meetings. Look at you contributing. Sit in front. If it's over the weekend, the church, you know, the Regia Center, sit at the role, the first role, expose yourself, answer questions. Then that way, you find that you're becoming more and more confident. Yeah.
What is standing out for me is the need to seek for professional, I mean like a formal training, because that will help you to know what are my strengths when it comes to public speaking.
Exactly.
And most importantly, the introduction part of it, which you are talking about.
Yes.
Because some people would argue that things like jokes, humor, they don't come out naturally for me.
Yes.
So how best can I still get to introduce and capture the attention of my audience?
Yeah. And it's possible, the way you put it is right. Yeah, there are various techniques which may apply to one person and they may not apply to you. So for you, maybe you don't think you have a sense of humor, but you can tell a personal story. And I'm sure you can attest to, you know, the people we train, some of them, they come, they are quiet, they're introverted, but when they stand and they tell their personal story, it so moves the audience and someone is really persuaded. Yeah. The other thing I wanted to mention is that that aspect of public speaking being a skill is really, really important. And the way I look at it is, think about the first time you learn how to drive. There are challenges. You know, there's always these fun jokes people make of how ladies, they hold the steering wheel. Yeah? But over 3 months, 6 months, they are so confident and they're the ones edging, you know, people out of the road. So it's the same with public speaking. It's a process. You learn the skill, you fumble here and there, but I can assure you, for example, by the end of the 8th, 9th day of the class, you're a totally different person. And then when you incorporate the practice, for 6 months, no one can tell, someone can really tell the difference between where you come from and who you are. Yeah.
I know in our next video we'll be discussing now about how to go about the body or even the conclusion.
Exactly.
Because some people equally struggle with making the conclusion.
Yes.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing with us.
Thank you too.
Indeed, when it comes to public speaking, everyone can speak in public, as I always say, but the question is, are you making an impact? So that is why we encourage you to reach out to us, join the so many professionals who have signed up for our upcoming public speaking training, and we assure you that you will be able to hack the introduction and you will be able to know how best to capture the audience attention with your introduction. The link below will guide you on how to sign up for our upcoming intake, and we look forward to seeing you there. Thank you so much for watching this video.